radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Well, oh, there's Richard. He's there already. So out of the gate, I was going to pull you in. I was going to do this whole thing. Okay, so hey, everybody. It's Fade to Black, Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. I am your host, Jimmy Church, and tonight is our birthday bash, and my birthday is on Friday, but I've got to work this weekend, and so Michelle said, what do you think about doing a birthday show on Wednesday? I'll gather a bunch of your friends, and let's do it. I said, yeah, it's a great idea. So Michelle arranged all of this tonight, and so thank you, Michelle. And I want to get straight to it. I've got a bunch of things that are happening tonight. And obviously, first up out of the gate tonight will be the one and only Richard Dolan. And Richard, thank you so much, my friend, for coming in tonight. And birthdays are special. They happen, once a year. And it seems that that's the one time that I get you on the show now. And this is my birthday.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Thank you so much.
I'm really glad to be here. I want you to know I recently filed a FOIA for the secret to your energy. It was denied, still classified.
Well done.
Doing what you
well
do.
Done. Yeah, well done. Well done. Did you appeal?
We're working on it.
Yeah.
If I get that secret, I'm using it myself. You're unbelievable.
Oh man,
you have an incredible work ethic, and I really want to commend you, and I absolutely wish you a very happy birthday tonight, but on Friday when it actually comes, and many, many more. We need you around. I need you around too. So I'm glad.
I really appreciate that. And one thing that you and I always manage to do, I'm going to say something a little personal, but. I'm going to share this with everybody. Richard and I, when we get a chance to sit down and talk, sometimes we talk UFOs and things, but a lot of times we just talk about life. And I don't remember when or where this was, Richard, and we've done this a few times, but we were talking about our ages, because you and I are the same age, and we were talking about getting up there. And I remember you and I talking one day about how the two of us used to be the young kids on the scene. And now we're not. We're the cranky old uncles.
Well, when we did our first show, I think we needed an antenna and a coat hanger, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a bit of a different time.
Yeah. Did we have electricity back then? I can't even remember. But isn't it funny how you can't stop time? Time rolls on. Yeah. And here we are. You and I are the two, gray-haired.
Among the older set.
Yeah, we're the old.
I'm leaning into it. I've published my first book. I was 38 years old when I jumped into this field. So I still had black hair, and a lot of energy. And man, back then I could work till 2:30 in the morning, no problem. And it was a lot of fun. And but now, we're in our 60s, if I can say that. And the body likes to yell at me a lot more now, in all different ways, I've noticed. But I accept it. It's just part of the process. And where the body doesn't always want to behave, I find that the mind is still good for me, and I know it is for you. And that's really the most important thing.
I remember, I don't know the name of the movie, so don't ask. I don't remember, but this is when I think about you. I'm watching this UFO science. It was a science fiction movie about whatever. and it was set around a group of people like in Roswell or out in the desert, and they end up going to this UFO conference. So they walk in the conference and they're doing this thing, and I don't know, they're chasing aliens or something. But as they walk through the conference room, there's a presenter on stage, and the camera briefly shows a very young Richard Dolan standing up
No freaking
at
way.
this podium with your long hair, right?
Oh yeah. I had the
and you're-
Einstein hair for a little while.
yeah. And you're speaking to the audience, and I was just like, what? When I sat up and I looked, and you were so fresh, right? You were so young,
Yeah, right.
and to stop and think about that, where we do eventually grow up, right? We take a breath mint, we wash our face, we shave, and we become adults. Do you feel like an adult?
I think yes. I think I felt like an adult back then too, if I may say. But what drives me, and I am certain is what drives you, is I don't really worry about like how do I come across? Do I come across mature enough or this or that? I'm driven by my curiosity, and I think you are too. And back when 25 years ago, when I was just breaking into this field and people were finding out about me, I had a lot of questions about the UFO subject, and I was interested in asking them. And for all of these years, ever since, it's never really changed for me. I have questions that I want to ask, and if other people are interested in coming along the ride with me, then my attitude is let's talk about these matters together. And I don't worry too much, honestly, about am I an adult now? Am I not an adult now? Like I just want to do my thing. And this subject, talking about UAP, UFOs, is maddening, but it's fascinating. It's never released its grip on my imagination and on my curiosity. And
That's the child side of you.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And you've always, if I may, you've always stood your ground for the UFO community. You haven't bent, and you haven't conformed. You haven't tapped out. And I'm going to remind you, I'm not going to say who because he's no longer with us. But there was a moment where I got to see Richard stand up, literally. You and I were sitting having a private conversation. We're at a conference, and it's just the two of us sitting at a table. And this guy comes up. I'm not going to say who he is. He's not with us anymore.
Okay.
But he comes up and he says something that was probably innocent, but it was the way that he said it. So he says, "Hello, Jimmy." And I said, "Hello." And he turns to you and he goes, "So, Richard, are you going to say something dumb today?" And you stood up and you said, "What?" And you leaned into him. And I thought, okay, here we go, Richard. Okay, it's go time. And and he said, "No, Richard, it's me. You and I were roommates at the blah, 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 blah." And you go, oh, all right. I took offense to what you said. And he said, "I'm sorry." Do you remember that particular moment?
No, I don't.
Hold on.
I do not remember that.
Go to the private chat. I'm going to type in
Got it right here.
the 9. Okay.
I was never a roommate with him, I don't think.
But do you remember the moment though?
Well,
Okay,
I'll just say that people are wondering, what are they talking about?
Yeah, I can't.
This is the guy that I never liked.
Oh, really?
I never liked him. If this is the one that I think you're talking about.
Yeah, it is.
A few people, they can rub you the wrong way. And this guy rubbed me the wrong way every single time we talked. And he didn't just rub me the wrong way. He rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Because I think he was often actually rude. If we're talking about the same person.
We are.
So I didn't have I had no patience for him. And we did a few events together over 10 years ago. We're talking 10, 15 years ago, at least.
Sure.
And he was quite popular for a certain reason for a while.
Yep.
And, but no, I found him rude and crude and obnoxious, and I never liked him.
I thought you were going to
I
punch
wouldn't
him
be
in the
surprised.
throat. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that I acted that way. Now people are like, who are they talking about?
I got to tell you,
he's no longer with us, and there's no point.
No. But my point is, you will literally stand up for the community. And, saying something like that, which I thought was pretty obnoxious. Are you going to say something dumb? No, I'm not, man. I speak the truth, and I'm based on fact. It was just a moment.
Well, that's really nice of you to say that. And I do, I think I'm not the only one who feels that way, but yes, I do feel that the UAP, or as I still prefer UFO community, how do I say this? There are many good people in this field. So it's not like one person has to be the one to defend the integrity of the field.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been many times over the last several decades where there have been individuals who I think have impugned the integrity of this subject in many, many ways. And particularly, when you are, constantly, you're dealing with a subject that you feel is extremely important, that deals with literal intelligences that are here interacting with this planet and the people on this planet with a plan and with intent. So that's important. And for years and years and years, this field cannot get an audience and cannot get anyone to take it seriously. Yes, like it needs people to defend it, and it needs its integrity defended. So I'm willing to do that. You are willing to do that. And I think a lot of folks are willing to stand up to do that, but it's important. And that means not just having to follow the latest, like I have a YouTube channel, but I'm not really super active. I mean, I'll put out a video once every week or two, but because I don't want to feel like I have to put something out just in order to get my clicks and get my likes. I want to put something out when I feel it's actually, when it's proper and appropriate for me to do it. And, you're always riding that line because, we want to get our message out. So we realize, okay, I got to play the game. I've got to do the publicity. But then on the other hand, you're thinking, am I keeping this real? Am I keeping this authentic? So for me, we all have to make our own decision in the way that we know how to do that. And I don't want to sacrifice the quality of the content that I put out just because I want to get more attention or something like that. I just don't want to do that.
It's so many times I find, and then I want to move on off of this because tonight we're celebrating my birthday, but
it's all about you.
Yeah, it's all about me tonight. But sometimes I find that there are certain individuals that allow ego to take over, and they just make shit up. And
look, this is the world, and I've seen this many times. You have seen this many times, and it's very easy for this to happen. Like, if someone has not been in that position, it may be harder to understand. But like because I've had to deal with this as well. Like when you do something that puts you in the limelight in a community, it will feed your ego. Like that absolutely happens. And that is a danger. That is always a great danger to be guarded against, because it is fatal. And I mean, unfortunately, like you do see it happening. And it's like, we're always battling this. Like we're human beings, and everyone wants to get a pat on the back and get a nice attaboy and all of these wonderful things. But that can never be the motivation why you do this. For me, it's always about the subject matter. It is always about the UFO subject. And that is that drives me all the time. And just of late, I ask the questions that interest me. I don't ask the questions that like a lot of other people are asking. Like these days, actually, I am trying to understand patterns of behavior of these beings. And I'll just mention this because I'm just about finished with my second volume of USO history, and I just keep seeing patterns. And it's really leading me. I don't know if there's such a subject as alien anthropology, but if there is, I'm very interested in it. I really want to understand the mind behind these beings, if that's at all possible. And I don't know if I'll ever really be able to, but I follow my curiosity, and I just want to be true to that.
All I try to do, and I love what you just said, I respect it because I have morphed into the very same thing. In that, I am trying to get answers. I'm trying to get educated. And that to me is more important than reporting a story. I don't want that's not my what
Yeah.
no, I am on a quest to figure stuff out. And that's what Fade to Black is. It's me asking questions so I can learn. And if I learn, my audience learns. It's not about clicks, not about ego. It's about me going to school. And that's that. And it makes me so happy. I'm in my happy place. I'm not in an ego-driven place. I don't give
You're in a nice
crap.
you're in a nice position with what you do. I mean, it's wonderful because you just get to have great conversations like all the time. And that is one thing that keeps someone sharp. And God bless you for it. I'm very glad that you get to do this because you are someone, I've always felt this way. Like you are driven. You're a natural for radio or for interactive conversations like this. That's just it's in your wheelhouse. But you're genuinely driven by this topic that I know has always fascinated you. So it's just wonderful. I'm glad you get to do this, and I'm glad you made another orbit around the Earth. And I want you to have many more.
And thank you for that, Richard. One last question before I say goodnight. And I know that you're going to go put on your Tim the Toolman tool belt and go and get back to work and doing what you're doing right now. But 3-Eye Atlas. Can you give me a 2 or 3 sentence sum up of where your head is with this?
I think it's fascinating, and I'm kind of on Avi Loeb's side here as far as I can understand him. I don't know that Avi Loeb has said this thing is absolutely artificial. He's not said that. What he has been saying, and I think he's right to say this, is that it's pretty damned interesting. It seems like it's extremely large. It has certain types of chemical signatures that are unusual, or even, as he says, anomalistic. There are enough unusual things about it from a professional astronomer's point of view that I think he's right to point out the possibility. He said, look, this is only the third official interstellar object that we have recorded. Of course, we only recorded the first one less than a decade ago, but nevertheless, he's like, let's look at some, extreme possibilities, I think, as they used to say on the X-Files. I don't think that's an outrageous claim to make. I caught Ross Coulthart really coming down on a very prosaic explanation about this, and I caught Avi Loeb's reaction. He was very upset about it. He seemed very angry, but I can kind of understand. I mean, all due respect to Ross, for me, I don't feel that I would be in a position to say, I think this is prosaic. Who the hell am I? I'm not a scientist. It is not really for me to make, I don't have a qualified opinion on it, but I mean, I note that Avi Loeb he seems to be alone among professional astronomers, not necessarily because no one else agrees with him, I suspect, but probably because no one else is really willing to just put themselves out there, because that's the nature of their culture and there's, how they are. But Look, I mean, the solution to any of these mysteries is you just study it and you get as much data as you can while it's in the neighborhood. And why do we need to jump to conclusions about it? I don't feel any need to have an opinion about this. And I just think that let's just wait and see. And hopefully, I mean, there will be a lot of data that can be collected about it by the time it's done with us. There's interesting things like the fact that it came in on the plane
on the elliptic,
which is very, very defined. Now, it might be that I don't know all of the mechanics and physics of why the elliptic is how it is, and I suppose that should not have any effect on another body coming in. But the Milky Way galaxy is on, I think, basically the same elliptic, isn't it? So you might think that the odds would be in favor of, Lisa, is it on the same elliptic as the galaxy?
Yeah,
Galaxy
I don't. Well, see, that's.
I don't really know.
Once you back out, you start to see. When we back out, you start to see that everything is basically a microcosm of what's inside, right? So the elliptic,
I should have looked this up. Like we should know, right? Is
right.
the solar system?
No. You are correct. Basically, it's like 5 degrees off. Okay, or
of
something
the galaxy's
like
elliptic.
Of our star system's elliptic.
Yeah. So if that's the case,
that's not random. I don't think that's random. And you know what else I don't think is random? And then I do have to go. Okay. The green room is filling up, as you can see. Is when you back out off of our sun and then back out of the Milky Way far enough where the Milky Way now is just a white dot. And you back out and you're surrounded by the white dots of trillions of other galaxies. That the 3-eye atlas, out of everything of the ginormity of all there is, orbited our sun. Come on, man. That's it. What kind of coincidence do we need to look at for that?
There may be a lot of activity in the local group here and in the local part of our. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
I'm fascinated with the lottery aspect of this. What are the odds?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it sounds like you and I may not be far apart on this. I'm very much supporting Avi Loeb on this. As long as I don't think he's saying it's definitely artificial, and as long as he's not doing that, which I don't think he is, I think he's just raising some interesting points about it.
Richard, stay right there. Sarah, tilt your camera down. Tilt your camera down just a little bit. There you go. And before I say goodnight to Richard, I'm going to say good evening to Sarah Bressman-Cosme.
Hi, guys. Hi, Richard.
Hi.
Hi, Jimmy. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you for that. Richard, thank you so much, my friend. You're the absolute very best. And I'll be seeing you soon. And until we meet again and see each other again, enjoy your environment, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. And say hello to Tracy for me.
I will indeed. Good night, guys. Have a happy birthday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Richard Dolan, everybody. Thank you so much, Richard, for taking the time. Celebrating my birthday with Richard Dolan and Sarah Bressman-Cosme. Sarah, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
It's my birthday. I'm doing great.
Right? I hope you have cake over there.
My daughter.
And presents. I saw your cake. Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter made me a cake of the Giza Plateau. So she comes in, right? So I posted online. If you guys want to go check out my social media, you can go check out the cake. But this is how special it was, Sarah. She goes, Dad, the sand, right? So she's got the 3 pyramids. She's got the Sphinx. She goes, the sand is cinnamon crumbles. So she, it's got sand. Yeah, it's so good, man.
So sweet.
I got all choked up. I mean, she spent so much, and it was so special to her. You know what I did today, Sarah?
What?
I did the coolest thing. I was just mentioning this to Richard backstage. I did one of the coolest things I have ever done in my life today.
What? Because I want to do this too.
I took my daughter for a ride on my Harley through the desert. father and daughter. How
Oh,
cool. I mean, you know, and I got my helmet, right? I'm right. And I'm just like this.
that's awesome. What
Wow.
what did she
Yeah.
think? Did she like it?
Okay. So
Or was
it
she
was her first
scared?
ride, her first time on a motorcycle. And
Wow.
she goes, Dad, I said, you're going to be fine, honey. It's like a couch. You know, you got a whole chair back there. So you're going to be fine. So she gets on and we take off. So anyway, we rode for about an hour, but when we got back to my place and she gets off, she goes, "That wasn't scary. That was fun." I said, "Exactly."
Now you
But
ruined her.
oh man, that's what I told her. I said, "One day, this is all yours. I got to teach you to ride now." And I
Aw.
said, "You're officially a Harley chick." She goes, "I am." So yeah,
Aw. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so
yeah.
cute.
It's so, you know, when you, isn't it, you're a parent, you're a mom,
Yeah.
isn't it, to put it into words, especially to people that don't understand, that don't have kids,
Yeah.
celebrating your birthday with your kids is magic. That's the
Yeah, totally.
only way to describe it.
Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah, I mean, my youngest is 11, so celebrating with him is like, what am I going to do for him? So we haven't mastered like, people doing things for me yet. So, well, my daughter sometimes. It depends. Sometimes. If
You
she's
sent
18.
me, I'm going to tell everybody what Sarah did today. She flooded me my text with a bunch of pictures of us together over the years. And I got to tell you, we've had a lot of special moments, haven't we? I
Yeah.
because we do so much together, and you know, 1 year, a day turns into a month, turns into a year, and next thing you know, time flies. But we've had some really cool moments together, haven't we?
Oh my gosh, so much fun. And it's true. It's like everybody is like this family. Everybody that comes to the shows, everybody that speaks at the shows, everybody just ends up getting so close together. But yeah, I was trying to spam you with a bunch of pictures.
It
Like
was
my
great. It was great.
I think my favorite was the coconuts.
That coconuts are cool, but the elevator.
Oh my God, what was up with that? Like so Jimmy and I were on a cruise, and all of a sudden we enter in the elevator, and a guy is
There's
playing
a
the
piano in
piano.
there. Yeah, there's a
Like, how is
piano
that
in
even
the elevator.
possible? How do you get a piano in the elevator? It
I
was sort
don't.
of like how the Atlanteans or how they moved all the stones. It was like, how is that even possible? And the guy was playing and singing in this
And so
elevator.
were we,
An elevator.
and I forgot all about that. And so we're singing on the elevator, and then at the end, God, it was such a fun moment. I turned around and yelled "Freebird."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Man,
That
that,
was so
you
much
know, and
fun.
so it's just the moments like that. You know, I've gotten to the point where here I am, 62. And I am so appreciative of the family that we have built, and our circle
Yeah.
of friends, and our quest for knowledge and stuff. And when I see stuff, we do so much of it that we kind of forget more than we remember. And that's what happens with age.
I guess we're just getting old.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
that's good. Maybe we'll do stuff and you'll completely forget.
Well,
We
okay.
won't have to worry.
While I've got you here, we've got a lot of stuff planned, but I do want to mention to everybody that Sarah and I are going to be going to Egypt with a group in 2027. Not just any trip to Egypt, is it? We are going for the eclipse, the totality over Luxor. That is going to talk about memories, right?
I
Oh man, this
know.
is a big one, isn't it?
I know. This is going to be so magical because, I mean, I mean, when can you actually go and experience the line of totality in Luxor and meditate and be in these temples right when this is happening? Because
Never.
eclipses usher in new energy. And so it's such an amazing opportunity to bring a bunch of fun people together and just experience this together. That trip's going to be so magical. Everyone's going to have FOMO, so you better sign up because everyone's going to want to go after it's completely sold out.
That's how things like this normally go. At least with this event, you can see the significance of it, the rarity of it. And then when you combine all of the things that are happening at the same time, but then you throw in Luxor and you throw in Sarah and Jimmy and a bunch of friends. Wow. And here's the other thing. We're not going to be the only people there doing this. We're going to have a lot of friends that are going to be there. It's going to be amazing that we're all going to be there at the same time.
I'm so excited. It's going to be magical because everybody else that's going to be there has the same intention in mind. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime trip. So yeah, Jimmy and I are not just doing a regular trip.
No. And we're going to take a lot of pictures, but yeah, it's going to be so fun and so special. I want to ask you this really quick. That this community is wonderful. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You came into this community bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Okay. And you got a little taste of the community in the beginning, and I know what it's like. It's like, come on in. The water's warm. This is a great place to be. But how wonderful has it been to have the community not only respond to you, but have an immense amount of interest in the work that you do and that you're sharing? Walk me through that.
Shocked.
What's it feel like?
I mean, honestly, I never expected it. I just really absolutely love what I do. And, it's just really mind-blowing actually that everyone's so fascinated in all the material that I've collected or that I'm researching, because I consider myself a researcher. I mean, I'm doing this research through the subconscious of my clients as they're under hypnosis. But I feel the way I've set it up that it is very validating research because I have multiple subjects. So I'm not just using one person under hypnosis. I have a whole test group, and I'm testing each and every one of them, and I'm investigating through their subconscious, and I'm finding the similarities and this information that's coming out, because I don't like to just speculate or guess about anything. I want to go deep into the material as I myself want to know everything. So I just follow what I'm curious about myself. And when I have questions, I go investigate to find those answers. And I like to actually find out what happened, not just, well, maybe this could be it or this could be that. But I want to find out what actually happened. I want to know, what is it that we have to know? What are the secrets that's been kept from humanity? And so I've just been sharing this type of information, and people have just responded. It's been changing their lives, really, it seems like. And that is really it's really rewarding to me because I didn't expect it.
It's changed you too. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And when a few years ago, when I would introduce you and I would go to the back of the room and I would watch your how and the information is one thing, but I just like to see the style and how communication is done, because I it's what I do. And when I watch you today, you're so comfortable now, and the way you present the information is the exact opposite of what you did 3 years ago. I bet if you went and watched yourself on stage 3 years ago, you'd be like, I can't watch this. I can't.
Oh, I'm sure. I was so nervous. I mean, I was so nervous. I'd like blow out my deodorant like every time, like
You're
that
not that way
nervous.
anyway. You
No,
are
I
just,
feel because I'm
you're,
so excited.
yeah, you're a
Now I'm
Cadillac
like,
now.
now I'm like, oh, I have a captive audience. I'm gonna like tell them everything, and I sure let them have it. I'm like, oh, you want to know about this, and then this is what happens with blood types when they activate, and then like there's so much information and content that I receive every single day, and so I. I think I told you one time I thought my husband, my real husband, was going to turn over to my side and start listening to me. And I thought, oh my God, and he's normally not interested in any of this stuff. Like he'd rather talk about something interesting, like boats, like who
Yeah,
has a
painting
bigger boat.
boats. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
then fishing. Did someone take his fishing spot? Something interesting, And so one day he came into where I was and he asked me an alien question.
Mm.
Yeah. And I thought, oh my God, is this happening right now? Like, you got to take the opportunities when they come, right? So I was like, let me just tell you everything. So I just went gung ho and I just let him have it. Like I told him I should have received an Emmy, it was that good.
You know
And I
what,
mean,
Sarah, I'm going to
yeah.
cut you off and say, life is complete. You're right. You've done the circle. You've completed the circle. Hakeem, tilt your camera down. Tilt your camera down. There you go. Because we're going to say, welcome to Hakeem Isler.
Hey.
Hakeem,
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I didn't realize that I would be on the show with you. I mean, forget Jimmy. Who cares about that?
I know, right?
But Sarah, my gosh.
I know, right? Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for hanging out.
Happy
You're the best.
birthday.
Thank you, honey. And I'll be seeing you soon. We've got a lot to do, and I will. I've got some emails and some other stuff, but I'm also going to text you something pretty interesting after the show. You're gonna laugh.
All
right. So,
all right.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Hakeem. Bye, you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Bye.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah Breastman Cosme. Man, she glows, Hakeem.
Yeah, she does. She does.
She glows. She glows. She glows. How you doing, man?
Man, I am doing good. I'm doing good, trying to catch up. It's been a lot of moving around and a lot of moving pieces. So just trying to settle in. I got a week off and then I'm back into the thick of it. So
what do you and thank you in putting this together tonight for this to have friends and people that not only that I have respect for, but that are in our circle to come in and hang out with me tonight is it means a lot to me, man. So just thank you for that. I came very, very, very cool. What do you, this week and last week, you have been a part of conversations that I've had with a lot of different people, and not only you as an individual, but what you are working on and how the world is dealing with it. And yesterday, you came up. I was out riding my Harley. I'm out in the middle of the desert. By this lake that I go to, and I pull in to this little picnic area, and there was a bike there with a sidecar on it, but the parking lot was empty. So I go to the back, I come to, and I stop, and I said, "Hey, man, nice bike, nice sidecar." I meet this guy. His name is Steve, and I meet his wife, and Charlene, and she's blind. Okay, and so we start talking, and I said, Hey, I'm going to tell you guys about something. And I just got back from this conference, and this and this happened, and this happened. And so I'm going to introduce you to, she's blind. Okay. And so I call up Dahlia, and I said, okay, I need the information for vision. And only because of you and what you set up, I am able to help this person that I meet on the side of a lake in the middle of the desert. How cool is that? That's because of Hakeem Isler, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's a lot of it's really amazing to see an era or a time in which more people are aware that we not only have these abilities, but what these abilities are and how they can be taught or shown to other people to inspire them towards their own growth on these in their own multidimensional nature. And so, I'm truly inspired to see what's happening now, to see that there is a person like Dahlia out there who can see without her eyes, and then can put that information together in such a way that she can help people who are blind see. I'm not sure if you know, but she's actually working with two people who are completely blind. One lady was born without her eyes, and she's been teaching her to use this ability. And that's powerful. That's powerful. We are in a different time, that maybe these gifts were around some time ago, long, long ago, that there were more people doing them, but at some point it kind of faded off. And now we're reawakening to the possibilities and having access to these possibilities. So yeah, I commend you for being able to pass that information on, and I'm glad that we both have come together to, you know, come to a link in which we can actually improve this lady's life that you just meet on the side of the lake.
Yeah, well, tonight we're hanging out and celebrating my birthday, right? It's a birthday
Yeah.
bash. But as I get older, another trip around the sun, I am finding out that the value of life, and I think that how do you know when somebody is getting older? When they just start talking about weird shit that they wouldn't talk about when they're younger. And you start to really seriously look at the meaning of life. Why are we here? What happens later, the significance of it all,
Mhm.
what and these start to become very profound questions that
Mm.
aren't important or as important when you're younger. It's just not that's it. It's called life. I get it. But the value of life and why we are here, I think, is more and more of learning and sharing that wisdom with others. That
Mhm.
is it's such a rewarding thing to do, right? So some would say that thing that happened by this lake, that she got a gift from you and I and from Dahlia, right?
Mhm.
No, I got the gift.
Mm.
The gift was me. The byproduct, right?
Mm.
The after effects was the information that she got.
Nice.
But the gift was to me. And I'm finding out that that's more important to me than just about anything else. Happiness and sharing knowledge and sharing it with others. That's that's what puts a smile on my face. And that's what I have. If I can share, wisdom with anybody, my old ass, right? Would be that. Would be
Yeah.
that. Share with others what you have learned.
Yeah, yeah. Happy birthday to you. And I must say that you are probably the only 34-year-old I know that dyes their beard gray. So this is pretty amazing.
It's hard to find. It's hard to find that hair. I have to order it. It comes out of Vietnam, but
Yeah, silver gray wisdom beard, dye. So,
oh man.
yeah, I can feel you on that, and I really think that that's really amazing that you've come to that realization in your own life. I think we could all find value in that. So it's wonderful to hear you share that.
It but that's exactly where did you develop this mentality? Because it's what you do too.
Mm. You mean the mentality of me inheriting these gifts and then wanting to
Share
turn
them.
around and share them? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, oof. I think that this idea of service has been really strong in my growth. Not only did my mom serve people and love sharing and teaching, but I think at some point I had to make a decision in my own life if I was going to be a taker or a giver. And I grew up around in an environment where people my age were very much taking and not giving. They would take from other people because they felt like they had to. And I was lucky enough to see another side where people were actually giving and see how that was so precious and valuable to the world as a whole. And so very early on, I realized that I wanted to be more of a giver, even though I was surrounded by a bunch of takers. And so I think that's where it really solidified for me that the archetype or the idea of this like hero, a person who wanted to be strong for other people. And that's kind of what I've been doing my whole life is since I made up my mind that that was who I was going to be. Then everything, my journey itself has turned into that type of journey. Not saying I'm a hero, but just saying that I'm a person who very much wants to serve and very much wants to learn knowledge, not for my own sake, but for the sake of those around me to help empower their lives in any way that I possibly can.
Somewhere along the line, I'm not sure exactly when, but somewhere consuming and being self-centered became the de facto meaning of life,
Mm,
that was happiness. And so when that took over the mindset of the world, um observing somebody else's position and offering assistance was not only a concern, it wasn't even a thought.
mm,
You know what I mean? It's like and it happened so fast that now today the people who are special and unique are the one, and the small minority are the ones that talk about these things, about service to others and helping. It's
mhm,
like it should be the opposite. That should be the rule, not the exception.
mhm,
And now I think things have like almost come full circle, where now we are forced to look at what we have ended up doing to the planet and um how do I say this? The classes of the masses. How did we get to this point? And I don't want the last thing, Hakeem, that I'm consider. I'm not talking about communal living on a love farm with a bunch of hippies. That's not what it. No, I would hate that. I would not. I would escape from that. My first night out, I'm jumping the fence. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is compassion for others. That's all. If just put that first, you're going to wake up tomorrow no matter what. And you're going to have a brand new day. But I guarantee that no matter how messed up you think your life is, no matter, and it could be real, there was somebody out there wishing they were you.
mhm.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I think probably if I was to add to that something of value, I believe that this 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 aspect of what you were talking about of not necessarily going out for service, but this consumerism where we value the thing or the product. And somewhere in our society that became very valuable for the average person is to consume, to have more, to get, to get. And it became less at some point about the relationship. And what we're finding now is that people are starting to wake up because they feel like this disconnect from the world and they feel that they're alone, and they feel that they have all this stuff, but they still feel empty. And you hear this story all the time where people who have no money and then all of a sudden get $1 million and they're still not happy. They all they want in the world is money, so I can buy anything that I could ever need. And then they get all of the money in the world and they have everything that they could ever need, and they're still not happy. And then they realize that it's not about consuming and continuously buying stuff, but really, what's really valuable and important is the relationships you build. And part of building those relationships is learning how to live in a mutual service to them and them to you. And you guys work together to build something, whether it's an individual or a group of individuals. And so it feels like you're right. There is a shift there as we start to recognize as a species how disruptive and how chaotic life is when you're just taking and you're just consuming and you're not actually feeding back or putting anything back into the world, and how it's destructive to the world, how it's destructive to the physical human being, how it's destructive to the spirit, and that there's got to be a better way. And service seems to be service and gratitude. I would love to say service and gratitude tend to be the thing. It seems like that's the sun and the water for the seed that's going to grow inside of us. So yeah.
No, you're exactly right. And I mean, so much so, if we take what you just said and simplify it a little bit, let's say not $1 million, but let's say if you go to somebody and you take away the stress of paying rent or a mortgage, take the stress away of paying bills. You don't give them money, but you take the stress away from all of that, so they don't have to stress out on that, right? Oh man, my electricity is going to get turned off next week. I either pay the car payment or I pay the electric bill, but I'm going to, you know what I mean? Take that stress out. Take that stress out. What would you do for happiness after that? If you could just, if we take those stresses away, what would you want to do? Right?
Yeah.
That is the magic of it. What is it? That is where you find your true bliss, and you glow on the inside, and you find your true happiness. And when you do that, your true self comes out. I'm happy. I mean, Hakeem, you would say that you've experienced my happiness and my being comfortable with myself, because you've experienced me saying stupid shit. Comes right out of my mouth. Comes right out of my mouth. And I've seen Hakeem roll his eyes and just go, he didn't just say that. He did. But that's because I'm comfortable, I'm happy, and I don't wear a mask. I'm not stressed, and that if the world was just like Hakeem, or like just where you get to the point where you're happy and you can chase your bliss, that's when you glow from the inside out. And unfortunately with me, what you get with that is I speak whatever, and it just comes out of my mouth. But that's only because it's me, and I'm not wearing a stressed out mask and trying to be something that I'm not. And the world would be a different place, wouldn't it? And I think we're making those changes, don't you?
I think in a lot of ways we are. I think it's half and half. There are people still lost and wondering and trying to figure out what's going on, and they're trapped in the cycle created by social media and other things. And then there are people who I meet who are really out there awakening to their true potential and to the thing that brings them joy. And I wouldn't even say happiness, because somebody was saying this recently. Happiness is fleeting. It can be, you could be happy one moment and turn around and be sad very soon after that. And so what does it mean to like really experience, liberation and joy on a deep level, where even when things go wrong, you still understand what the true nature of your reality is, what the true nature.
You want me to tell you what it is? You want me to answer that?
Yeah.
The wise sage that I am, because it's my birthday and I'm 1 year older.
And that dyed gray beard you got on there to
man.
fool everybody.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. When you get to that point where you can go, I mean, you are alone. You close the closet door and just stand in there. Today's the day. I'm not lying to myself anymore. You know, don't lie to yourself. And that's when those changes happen. That's when those changes happen. You're right. Happiness is fleeting, and also sadness is fleeting too, as well. That's all yesterday's stuff. You know, always we're always in the future, always in the future. This second is now gone. It's gone. You can't get it back. That happiness is fleeting. Live in the moment. Don't lie to yourself. Chase your bliss and move forward. You know, the sadness that you feel, the anger that you feel. You know what my daughter said to me today? She said the coolest thing. A few weeks ago, I don't want to get into her personal stuff, but a few weeks ago, she called me and said, Dad, this just happened. This just happened. What am I going to do? And we talked through it a little bit. I said, okay, honey, I want you to listen to me. Okay. I love you. In 2 weeks from today, you're going to forget about this. As dark as it is, as crazy as it is, but opportunities are going to just be in front of you. And 2 weeks from now, I'm going to say to you, I told you so. Today on my couch, she's here celebrating my birthday. She goes, Dad, do you remember that phone call we had 2 weeks ago? Right? She goes, you were right. Life is great. I said, you were in a bad place because Dad, I will always listen to you. And now just think about that. That's the same advice I would give to anybody. I get it. I get it. Live in the moment. Live in the moment. If you stress out on something from last week or yesterday, you can't get that back. You know, don't stress out on that. Live in the moment. As difficult as it is, in the future, you're going to look back at that moment that was stressing you out going, that was nothing.
Yeah.
It's true, isn't it? It's just amazing how true that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And another phrase I love is this too shall pass. I'm sure you've heard of that phrase.
Oh, I love that.
And, you know, and then in the Army, we had nothing that sucked lasts forever. Nothing bad lasts forever, you know? And so this idea that would keep us going and motivated, and all our hard training is like, oh man, this thing sucks, but it's not going to last forever. At some point it's going to end. And then I'm going to look back on it and say, man, that really made me tough. Or yeah, it was tough at the time, but it really helped me out today.
It's all part of the journey. It's all part
of the journey. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and so that's part of it. It's ways. These things sometimes have amazing aspects to them that improve our lives in ways that we don't even realize until we get to a juncture in our life and we say, oh, if I hadn't had that happen, then I wouldn't be ready for this, you know? And we see the true value of something that we at one point hated and you know, thought was just our darkest moment in life. But one day it turns into the most brightest moment or the brightest lesson we have to help us through an even tougher time, or to make us realize that we are capable of doing a particular thing, you know? And so I definitely live by that because I've seen it happen enough in my life, and I've seen it happen in other people's lives. So I agree with you.
Thank you so much, Hakeem, for celebrating and coming in today, my friend. And thank you for being my personal security. You allow me to walk around without fear. And that's why you're Hakeem Isler. Hakeem, thank you so much, my friend. We will talk soon. We've got a lot of stuff to do, man. And thank you for your journey in this world with our community. Really appreciate you.
Thank you. I'm blessed to know you.
Hakeem Isler, everybody. Thank you so much, Hakeem. And with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, I got a bunch of my friends hanging out to help me celebrate my birthday. That's right. 62 trips around the sun. Birthday is not today. It's Friday. but I have to work on Friday. I have to travel tomorrow. So today we celebrate. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black t-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 t-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. Go Backley Tappy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut.
Jimmy Church, Gaia TV, Fade to Black, here at Machu Picchu with Brian Forster and Hidden Inca Tours. Amazing tour so far, Brian, but we're here to announce what we're going to do next year in 2026. What's going on?
Okay, November 2026, we're going to have our major tour of Peru and Bolivia, either a pre or post tour of Paracas and Nazca on the coast. And then after that, 6 days in Easter Island.
Bucket list, Easter Island. Come join Brian and I and his amazing team here at Hidden Inca Tours for Peru, Bolivia, and Easter Island. Signing out. Say goodbye, Brian.
Bye, gang.
River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, we're going to celebrate my birthday with a bunch of friends coming in. And yeah, it's special to me. And just thank you for everybody in the chat and social media and all the birthday wishes out there. It's very cool. And we say it all the time, you know, another trip around the sun, but it comes around. It's just once a year. And for me, I have to work this weekend. I have to jump on a plane tomorrow and go and get stuff done on my birthday. So it was Michelle, my producer, said, let's do this. Let's do a birthday show. And we'll do it early. And I said, you know, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, let's do that. And in getting things set up, I thought, well, let's bring you on the show. And she's right here, Michelle Freed, the producer of Fade to Black.
Happy birthday.
I get to thank you for that, Michelle. I get to introduce you to the world, right?
Oh my gosh. The world. It's a big place.
Yeah. You're the glue. You're the one that holds this thing together. And I know we're here talking about my birthday tonight. We don't even have to do any of that. But I do. I thank you so much for the hard work and for putting up with me and getting this thing done every single week after week. We've known each other for a long time. You've been with me for a long time. But this is your first time on the show, and just thank you for everything. I'm going to say into the chat, yes, this is Michelle, everybody. Say hello to Michelle. Yeah. How am I as a boss?
Oh my gosh. I didn't think you would be a good boss when I started. I wasn't sure because I had some bad experiences. But after I think I messed something up. And I could tell you're like, okay, no one died. We're okay. I'm good. And I was like, oh, that's new. So I'm like, this is going to be good, and then you also give me a lot of freedom to come up with stuff because I don't like to be restricted. And so you're not like a micromanager type thing. So you let me kind of fly free, which I love. So, and by the way, I have to say, and I've been meaning to say something, but the chat, they're hysterical and they're smart and I love all these people in the chat. I don't know who they are. I just know by, their little names. But I just love just reading that chat. So that's very cool. Very cool.
The chat can be dangerous. It can be dangerous and addictive. For the most part, everybody's wonderful. Oh man, I've got the Fadernauts have the troublemakers that come in, and we love them, and it's really funny. Some just choose to stir the pot, and see, I just said stir the pot. Now the conversation is going to be weed for the next 30 minutes.
Oh.
Hey, Jimmy said pot.
I told you it's fun. It's a fun.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely amazing. Now, Michelle, here, you've been inside of my head, and you know the ebb and flow of how I think and where my interests are in the moment. For everybody, I need you to understand how the show is booked. Michelle does her own thing. She just does it. There's a way that my mind works and what I'm interested in the moment, but I don't say to Michelle, okay, this week is UFO week. This week is going to be life after death week. This week is going to be I don't do any of that. But Michelle does listen to the show. She listens to my thought process, and then she runs with it. What is that like when you're inside of the community like you are, Michelle, to go and pursue this knowledge for me and to allow me to ask these questions? The community is pretty fun and interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think part of it is that your confidence and being a host, because you can pretty much talk to anybody. So that makes my job easy. The part that's not easy is that because you don't say a bad thing about anybody, I can't tell because you always say it's a perfect show. And I asked you for a symbol or something to tell me like, don't get that guest again, but you never do it. But you just do a good job with everyone, and you find something to talk about, which does make it a perfect show because you kind of make it happen that way. And then for me, I just think like I think about you and I think about the audience, the listeners, and I'm thinking, well, if I think it's interesting, I'm pretty sure everyone else will think it's interesting. So sometimes I like to be a little risky, and sometimes those shows didn't work so well, but For the most part, they do. And I think it's because if something seems like it's going sideways, you'll kind of turn it around and get it back on track. So I think it's a synergy, working together. I think that we cover each other there.
You bring up a really good point. I've gotten into the position now, and again, this isn't coming from ego. Well, it kind of is, but because I've got thousands of hours, tens of thousands of hours of experience of conversation and interviewing, that if the conversation for me is not interesting to me, or losing that, I can get something out of somebody that I will find interesting. And that's what you develop over the year, instead of throwing up your hands in frustration and just go, nah, this interview's over. No, there is something compelling and interesting in everybody. You just got to get to it.
Right.
And I am able to, it's taken a long time. I didn't do this out of the gate, but I can do it now.
Right.
And it's just, I bring on the guest, I remember, I'm going to tell everybody something. This is very private, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Not so private anymore.
Michelle asked me in the very, very beginning, she goes, okay, so Church. She calls me Church, by the way. She goes, so Church, who are the guests I'm not to invite on the show? Surely you have a list. I said, no. I said, I got 2 names, maybe 3. And she goes, well, those are obvious. I said, well, yeah, that's it. We don't have a blacklist, do we?
No, we do not have a blacklist, because what you said to me is you like the challenge of it. You like, because I also asked, like, what if I kind of feel like maybe this person is showing a viewpoint that maybe you don't believe in, or maybe the listeners won't. And you said, no, bring them on. I want to hear from everybody and all different sides of the stories. So that also gives me a lot of leeway.
Yeah. And I know for some out there, they're probably quite surprised and maybe even shocked in hearing something like this, that this show runs on drama, right? And we've got a blacklist and we've got this, and we don't do that. No, it's the exact opposite of that. I want to be challenged. I want to learn something. I want to hear from somebody that saying that I disagree with isn't the right way to put it, but that's certainly a view some can take, that that aren't along the path of what I have been investigating or researching, and I'm in that direction, and then something else comes along that isn't in it, isn't in line with that. That's where you expand. That's where you learn. If I'm sitting here what's really bad, a bad conversation, I want everybody to really listen to me closely. What's a bad conversation for the audience is when the audience is agreeing with everything that is being said.
Right.
That's boring. That's bullshit. That's a waste of energy. You want to, as a listener, go, what? That's what you want. Because now you're and there's something that is being presented in front of you for you to consider. You don't have to agree with it. You don't even have to accept it. You don't have to have it be a part of your library. You don't. But that is where you expand and learn something new. That's it. Now, I'm not saying, is it good for me to sit here and argue with somebody? I don't necessarily do that. But
no, it's just like a different viewpoint. It's just that they come at it from a different way. And that's always interesting. And it also brings in like different vocabulary to describe something, which I also like when someone comes in and they have a different way to say something, it'll hit somebody that it hadn't hit before. Like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. And that would be a really great thing for anybody listening to experience.
Yeah, Michelle, again, I'm going to say this. I hope I embarrass you a little bit. Michelle has sat at many dinner tables with me, many, okay, where we have had a very eclectic group of people sitting at that dinner table. And I will, at some point during that dinner, piss everybody off. Where, we got a great conversation and I'll go, hold on a minute. What about? And then listen to the conversation elevate to the next level around the table. And I am not in any way bullshitting, am I?
No. And my favorite is when you throw people under the bus.
Well,
now, what you should be saying is putting them on the spot, putting them on the spot. That's what, not throwing them under the bus. So that was kind of funny. So I'm going to embarrass you now because
okay.
Jimmy wanted to give these compliments to people, including me. And he prefaces it by saying, I'm going to throw you under the bus. So now everyone's bracing themselves for what's going to come out of his mouth because, putting somebody under the bus is not a good thing. So what's he going to say? And then he ends up saying all these wonderful things. So I'm like, Jimmy, I think you have the wrong phrase.
No, and and the reason for that is, I'm preparing everybody for what they think is going to be something crazy and shocking, right? Okay. Yeah. And then it turns out to be a compliment that is probably a little embarrassing for somebody that I'm doing that to. And I like that little moment of being uncomfortable and then being a little bit shy. Maybe the face turns a little red because a compliment came out that you weren't expecting.
Right.
And yeah. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy doing that a lot.
Too much.
I enjoy doing that a lot. You know who I do that to a lot? And you've seen me do it. I don't know how many vegans. God, I love attacking vegans.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Vegans are fun, man. It's like open season. It's like fish in a barrel, man. And I love doing it, and it's out of compassion. Here's something else, Michelle, and you know this. I don't think I've ever said this on the show, but I've said this to a lot of people. Okay. If I ever stop giving you shit, that's when you get worried. Yeah. That's when you go, man, I think Jimmy doesn't like me anymore. Did I say something wrong? If I'm suddenly nice to you in public, you're on the wrong side of the Jimmy circle. Yeah. You're standing outside of the Jimmy circle. And it's really true. People look forward to me talking smack, because that just means I'm in love with you.
That's so good. So good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So do we have some exciting things for 2026 for all our listeners?
Well, there are so many changes that are happening right now, and you have to kind of roll with it. And I think all of us learn how to roll with it over the years, and I've certainly learned to roll with it. Libsyn, our podcast company that has been with us for 12 years. And originally, Michelle, you know this, but originally back in the day, we wanted to have a free alternative for people to go and listen to the show commercial free. And so we partnered up with Libsyn. We couldn't do it for free, but it was $2 a month. It was like the minimum number that you could plug in to their software to make things work, right? And
Right.
whatever, and that was $2. But that gave us an app and gave us their platform to publish to have the app for the Fadernauts, and they could have a commercial-free thing and an app, and it was all really cool. Well, Libsyn stopped that after 12 years, and they stopped it with everybody. But with that is another exciting opportunity on the back end that is rolling out starting officially today, but will kick it out after I get back from Colorado and I get everybody on board with this, which is this. Libsyn is now broadcasting Fade to Black on all of the premium networks. And I got the links for today. I got Spotify, Apple, and I think Google, something else today. I got like the big three or big four today.
iTunes?
Yeah, Apple. Yeah, iTunes.
Okay.
Yeah. Apple Music, iTunes.
Okay.
Where right now there are 1,000 episodes available on all of the streaming platforms. And Libsyn handled all of that. They did that. I'm so excited. So now what does this do? All right. So you'll be able to hear the edited version of the show from now on and rolling out into 2026. And the way that they're doing this is to have Fade to Black available into these large markets and to have it out there. And that's a really, really big deal. And the way that Libsyn is doing it, I'm very appreciative. With Fade to Black on our end, what I would like to see happen, and we're working on this, it's not as easy as it sounds, but we're working on it, is to have an app for the Fadernauts that go and get a Fade to Black membership, and you can have an app there like the Libsyn app that will play the archive for you. So we're working on that right now. But in the meantime, for all of the Fadernauts that want a peer commercial-free alternative to it, is to just go to our website, become a Fadernaut, and you can download, whatever, 50 episodes a month and whatever you want to do, and fill up your phone, and you can just sit and listen to one show after another, completely commercial free. So we still have that that's never going to go away, the Fadernaut memberships, but we should have an app moving forward too as well. And then in combination with all of that, and this is for the Fadernauts, it's such a cool thing. We have Beyond Belief and what is going to be continuing in 2026, and what these two things work together. And I'm so thankful for that. Where, yes, we have Beyond Belief, and the Beyond Belief audience, television audience, is now exposed to Fade to Black. And those Fadernauts and the Fade to Black audience is now feeding into the Beyond Belief stuff. Two different production teams. You do this show, and then Gaia and their production team, they handle Beyond Belief and the booking of that show and how that they want it handled. But you get two different approaches to it. My interview style and what I do over on Beyond Belief is not unlike or much. I am who I am. And you get a TV version of Fade to Black in its own way, but with the production of Gaia behind it and their selection of guests. And so the two throughout 2026 are going to continue to support each other. And we're going to make this, all of it, just bigger, stronger, better, and faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to travel less, but that didn't work out for 2026.
No, I don't think you're not going to slow down for a while now.
No. Michelle, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. One of these days, you should book yourself on the show, and we could do something really fun.
Okay. Talk about remote viewing or something.
Hey, Michelle, you're the producer. I don't give a shit. You just do your thing. And right now I've got Whitley Strieber in the green room. Whitley, smile. I'm bringing you live. There he is right there. Whitley Strieber, everybody.
Yay, Whitley. Yay. Well,
How
happy
you?
birthday, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm here, but where are you? I've lost you just a second. Oh, there you are. Okay,
Oh,
good.
there you. Okay.
Now I can see us.
All right, Michelle. Thank you so much. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good to me. Bye, listeners in chat room. Have fun. Bye.
Bye, Michelle. Whitley Strieber in the house. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm very good, thank you. And you?
You know what? You know I'm going to say it. Another trip around the sun, right?
Yeah, well, we've done a few of those. I tried to slow mine down. It didn't work. It actually sped it up. I've just finished a new book. I finished it today.
What?
Yes. I went to and printed out the book today. And I thought, well, I wonder how long it is. I never really know until I print it out. I can't edit them online. I have to edit them on paper. And it's massive, 528 pages. And what I've done is this. I published 2 books back in the 80s that were trashed. There's no other way to put it. I published Communion, and that people really loved that book, and they still do. But a lot of people, from the New York Times to the government to this, you name it, were gunning for me after that happened. The publisher just sent the books out to the bookstores because they knew that if they told them what it was, they would get a lot of pushback. And so they put it up on the shelves, and the thing changed the world. It began the whole process of contact.
Mm-hmm.
And so the second 2 books are basically me and my family living with the visitors in our lives, in our daily lives. And those books were stomped. I mean, stomped. And I go through all of the things. I can prove everything that was done. Not everything, but most of it. And what I did was I went chapter by chapter. I updated the book to now. What happened then? What do we now know about it? I said this. What does new knowledge about the way the brain works tell us what was happening in here while these experiences are taking place? And it's
only
called
only you could do something like that.
Only me. There's no one else who could do it. No,
Right,
absolutely
right.
not. It's called Transformation 2025, and it'll be out soon. And people are going to ask, well, what about the audiobook? And the answer is, when you were looking at a manuscript this thick and you think, I've got to read all of that. And the answer is, yeah, I'm going to do it as soon as I can, hopefully before Christmas.
Oh man, I have and Whitley, before just thank you for being here to celebrate today. And my birthday's on
what
Friday.
Are we celebrating? That I don't know. Is it your birthday?
62 years, man.
You're 62.
I
We
know.
don't celebrate the birthdays of children on this show. Good God.
Oh man, I know, right? And but just thank you. We've been friends for
and thank you, Jimmy, because you're so cool and so much fun to talk to. And I haven't talked to you in a long time, and I'm glad to be here. How much time do we have?
It's been a minute. We've got another 15 minutes. 15
Oh, okay, good.
But
I'll talk fast.
You can roast me all for the next 15 minutes. Yeah, I have said.
Did you say 15 minutes? I didn't.
Yeah, 15 minutes to roast me.
Okay, no, I'm not going to roast you. You're unroastable.
Unroastable.
Absolutely, I wouldn't roast Jimmy Church. You're a great part of this. I would never roast you.
Oh man,
I used to roast Art, but he roasted me too.
Is that right?
That's right.
One of the things that I admire to anyone that can complete a book, I mean, that's insane to me. And I've started 2 books, and it's such a daunting process to me. And then it's one thing to complete a book. I admire that. And then it's to publish something that people respect and resonate with. Now you're starting to get into rarefied air. What feeling of accomplishment do you have, like with today, where you've completed the last page? What does that feel like? You've done it, you published a lot, but
I don't even think about it. What I'm thinking about is the next book. I'm a really obsessive compulsive workaholic.
Is that true?
It is true. It is true. My kids gave me a workaholic T-shirt. It says,
did you have to develop into that?
I've been like that since I was 4 years old, maybe earlier, 3. I've always been obsessive and very when I got onto something when I was a little boy, nothing stopped me, not ever. That's why I burned the house down trying to make an anti-gravity machine. And other problems that occurred.
Let's go on the record and right now and just say that Willie just said he burnt the house down building an anti-gravity machine. Did you get caught? Did your parents know?
Oh yes, they understood very well what had happened. And fortunately, I didn't get beat up because I was at our country house with my grandmother when the fire started. The anti-gravity machine attempt was made one day. Me and a friend had 2. I was certain that the spacemen had told me how to build an anti-gravity machine. That's what I called them in those days. And so, not knowing exactly what I was talking about, we found a couple of electromagnets, one a donut and one like a little ball. And the little ball fit in the donut. So we went up in my bedroom, plugged them both in at the same time. The house lights all went out. And of course, from the maid, from my mother, from my sister, from everyone in the house, they didn't say, "Oh, what happened?" They all yelled, "Winnie!" And I got it unplugged and went down and turned everything back on again. But that night we were playing Monopoly, my sister and I and some of the kids in the neighborhood. And suddenly the lights kind of went, they kind of faded and went back, faded and went back. And I thought, oh no, the spacemen are mad at me. And, we went to bed and slept. And the next morning, my grandmother came over and said, "I'm going up to the country house to play cards. And we'd like Woody to come along," because I was a good card player. And I got in the car and went in with her, and we were playing cards when my mother called, and I hear my grandmother pick up the phone, and she says, "House burned down, Mary Strieber's house." And I thought, oh no, I'm in trouble. And the next thing I knew, I'm back at home. The whole roof is burned off. My sister's room is caved in, but not mine. And so she's pissed off, extra pissed off. And she's telling mother, he did it somehow. Mother saying he was in the country. He did it, she said, no matter what, no matter where he was, somehow he did it. And mother finally says to me, "Well, what about that thing that you did with the electricity?" I said, "It didn't do anything with the electricity." She said, "Sure you did. You and David, you did something to the electricity, and then the house burned down." And then she said, "Do you want me to ask your father to ask you this question?"
Yeah, right.
And the answer was, "Not really."
You are grounded for the rest of your life. Now go to your room.
It would have been worse than that. This was the 50s. There was still corporal punishment. Remember that?
Right.
No grounding. What I did? They didn't ground anybody.
You know what I did when I was a kid? This reminds me of I smuggled a bunch of chemicals out of science class, right? And what I was doing is I was putting just stuff. I didn't even know what it was, right? and I'm putting it in test tubes, putting a cork on it, and putting it in my sock, and taking it home. And so, by the end of a few weeks, I had, maybe a dozen test tubes of different stuff. I had some test tube holders, those little clamp things that you hold a test tube with. I had those. I had to try. Dude, I was just stealing from science class. So I had all the stuff. And my neighbor, this kid, we're standing in my bedroom, and the floor in my bedroom throughout the house was this beautiful, natural wood parquet floors. Gorgeous floors, right? Just gorgeous floors. And we're standing in the middle of my bedroom. He's holding a test tube and I'm holding a test tube. And yes, this has a bad ending. And I'm holding the test tube. He's holding his, and we don't even know what we're doing. And he pours the stuff into my test tube, on one chemical into the other. I don't know what it was. And I'm holding it, and I watch the test tube. I felt the heat. I felt the heat on my face from like 2 feet away. It bubbles up. It changes color immediately, and then goes and blows up the test tube onto the floor. And we both back up, and I look, and on the parquet floor it's a round circle of bubbling gnarliness. Smoke coming up, eating into the parquet floor, it was like right out of, and I'm like, oh my God. And I run to the bathroom, I get a towel, I come in, and I'm smearing this nuclear acid. That's all I can. I'm smearing, and it ate through the wood on the parquet instantly. Went right to the concrete.
Oh no! Hole.
And man, okay, I'm thinking I am in trouble.
Yeah,
forever.
Yeah,
this is bad. I take the rug, the throw rug next to my bed, and I put it over the hole in the floor. I put it over the hole in the floor. Like a week goes by. A week. I don't tell my dad. He could smell it too, by the way. And I don't tell my dad. It was like a week later, I come home from school, and the rug is draped over the back of the couch in the living room. My dad wasn't home. But he draped the rug over the back of the couch. And I walked into my bedroom, and there's the hole in the floor sitting there. And I had to wait for my dad to come home. And I remember him saying, and then I got to run. I've got Jason quit. I'm going to bring in Willie. My dad goes, I have to pay for somebody to come in and replace that floor. I'm not going to pay you for cutting the lawn for 2 years.
Oh, no, God. They were
I was
so
like,
strict, they were so strict.
You bet. I got off so easy. I was like, that's it? You're not going to punch me in the face? But
before we go, I just want to say this. It's you, me, Bill Mallow, who was heavily involved in this. Nobody knows his name. He was the head of materials science at Southwest Research in Texas. John Mack, Art Bell, and probably others all blew things up and caused trouble like this when they were kids. I think the aliens like people like that, in my opinion.
Whitley, you're the best, my man. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your contributions.
Thank you, Jimmy. Don't bother to thank me. This is your show. 62 years young. And all the other little boys and girls, enjoy it while you can, because it does not last.
Whitley, thank you so much, my friend. I'll be in touch with you later this week. Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Whitley Strieber, everybody, the absolute very best. And with that, we're going to roll straight into Whitley, the best. And everybody, Unknown Country, everything, just go to Whitley Strieber, We have his links and everything up. Go and visit Whitley and check out his stuff and his interviews. I the way he interviews people, I have absolutely stolen that over the years, but I've told him so. I don't carry any guilt. Next up, the one and only Jason Quitt, got 2 T's in his last name.
Happy
too
birthday.
many other Jason Quitts out there with 1 T.
Is there?
Yeah, too many of them. Too many. How are you, my man?
I'm doing very well. It's been a while. I'm feeling very rusty here.
Feeling rusty. Yeah. That's the thing when you historically were the guest that was on every single month for 10 years, and you're in a dry spell now. It's every 3 months.
Yeah. What could I do? Well, look, I've actually was just up in Thunder Bay. I was just mining. So it's like my mind is still out in the woods.
You look very comfortable. You look woodsy.
Thank you.
You look very woodsy. You look tanned, actually.
Yeah, it's we've had a heat wave.
You're not white and pasty.
No. Outside in the elements, working with the hands. Yes.
You're the very best. We have to. Jason, our history goes back, for so long, and working with each other and supporting each other over the years, and the friendship that we have is extraordinary, and I appreciate it. And it's an honor and a privilege to not only call you friend, but to do the research that we've done together and to have the experiences that we have shared over the years has been extraordinary. But there's always a but with that kind of compliment, right? Dude, we have to get back on the horse. We've got to get back to Quitspiracies. We've got to just do that's it. What are we doing wasting these days when we could be doing Quitspiracies every single night of the week? Every night.
Yeah, that could work. Why not?
Yeah, I know. It's endless, man. It's endless. Those isn't it I'm just going to say this, between friends. Isn't it easy and effortless to just openly discuss something that you're compassionate about, where we can jump into any conspiracy and expand that out into an hour-long conversation? Isn't that's happiness, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. And we do this privately, so why not do it publicly? Why not record it?
But that's how we started the show.
Yeah.
That's a great point. We've never told everybody this. Jason and I, one day, this is a long time ago, and we're just shooting the shit on the phone and just talking about these things and conspiracies and stuff. And I don't know if it was Jason or me, but one of us said, dude, this is a show. What are we doing wasting time between the two of us? We need to turn this into and that's exactly how it started, isn't it?
It is. And I don't remember how or who said, let's do it this way, but it just unfolded naturally. And what's great is I was trying to find some files on my computer. I had to take like an old hard drive going back to like 2015. And I'm finding all these pictures of like having dinner in your backyard, or like us at the mountains in Washington. Like there's so much history here that like I've completely even forgotten about. So it is natural just to talk about these things with you and share it with the public. And there was a time in this community where I was very frustrated with the conspiracy theories going around, and I'd call you and vent and say, hey, have you heard this conspiracy? And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I said, you know what, let's do this publicly and get people to vote for it, because we could have some fun and laugh.
How did the pipes thing even happen?
I think it was just like a joke at the time. I think around that time it was my birthday, just like it's your birthday this week. And a friend took me to the store and he bought me a pipe, right? He says, happy birthday, he bought me a pipe. And I swear, it was like, I'm holding this pipe and it's like a prop, right? Like, what am I? So I don't know. It's just like, I thought with conspiracy, it's like we're sitting by the fire, I'm on my leather chair, you're on your leather chair, and we're just sitting there smoking our pipes and saying, let's talk about this conspiracy. What do you think about this? And I think that's how it kind of emerged. I don't know
Did the Fadernauts create the rating system?
No, I think that was on your side.
Was it?
Yeah, that was like your decision, but I agreed immediately.
I can't take credit for that. It's too brilliant. It's like beyond my scope of creativity.
Yes. Now I have a pipe, but it's just too big. It's like a Gandalf pipe. It won't work in this situation.
What do you make of Jason, where it's one thing to sit around and talk about interesting, crazy stuff, and then it's another thing to see some of the stuff turn into reality? And right now we're watching. It doesn't matter where your interest lies. It just doesn't matter. It could be sports, could be music, politics, religion, cars, Legos. There is craziness in everything right now. It's just absolutely not. Is this surprising to you that we could allow the entire fabric that is us to just completely unravel?
Maybe I've been silent because all these conspiracies have already come true. And going back 10 years or 20 years, we were talking about all these things, and it's almost like they've already come to pass or are happening, and we see it. And it's like, the conspiracy theorists were right all along. So it's like now we come on and we say, this is what we believe is going to happen, but it's already happening. So it's no longer a conspiracy. So we need to find new conspiracies, because all the old ones we used to talk about have kind of manifested in our world already.
Isn't it weird? Let me tell you what's really strange about that. I kind of liked the old version when it was just us and our kooky community talking about this stuff, because it was our own private little world where we were yelling for the world's attention, but they didn't care about us. And it was our own little thing. Now we've got UFO hearings on Capitol Hill. You know what? I want my secret shit back. I don't need this. That's our thing, man. And now it's normal to be us.
Yeah.
No, that was our secret little thing, our little group of crazy. And I like that. I don't know if we'll ever get it back, man.
You know what? There was a strange moment in time where, I was having these experiences. I was learning things that were just completely fringe. And then one night I'm driving home really late in the morning, early mornings. I turn my radio on and it's Coast to Coast. I've never heard of that show before. And suddenly I'm hearing the craziness of my life being talked about on Coast to Coast. And I'm like, oh my God, there's people out there that are talking about this. And I got hooked immediately, and it's like, now you just turn on the news and it's on the news and it's mainstream. But there was a time where it's like, you had to kind of stay up real late at night, turn your radio on, get under the covers and go, I can't wait to hear this person coming on tonight to talk about this crazy stuff.
But when the first time, this is maybe 5 years ago, and I remember watching a press or thing from the White House, from the press room. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching the press secretary for whatever was going on back then. It doesn't matter who that person was. But I remember that person stepped up to the podium and was talking about it and took a question from some journalist. And I watched the press secretary say UFO out of their mouth right? And I sat back. I'm watching it live. I went, wow, that was cool. I don't think that's ever happened before. That's a first time. Huh. All right. And 1 minute later, I caught myself going, that's bullshit, man. That's our world. We are now mainstream, right? That was our fight. And I thought that the tide has turned. It's no longer our thing that we were angry about. Now we've got this being talked about in the White House like this on live television. It was weird how I went from glee to glum, right? In like 60 seconds. And I kind of like the old version of it. I kind of like the old version.
And then there's this kind of conspiracy mindedness that we all carry, where it's like, okay, now they're speaking about it publicly. Is this counterintelligence? Are they trying to cover something up? So even if, we get this disclosure and government is saying, yes, this is this and this is that, there's going to be a large group of us going, wait a second, why are they telling us this now?
Well, okay. So let's take it to the next level, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see a day where we're going to have a press conference from the press room at the White House? The press secretary is standing up at the podium and says something like, well, the president is very concerned about astral travel and out-of-body experiences, and we expect legislation soon as Congress starts to open up hearings. I don't know if we want that. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. The discussion of consciousness with the president is important. No, it's not. That's our conversation.
That reminds me of like a South Park gag where it's like they figure out heaven is real or something, and the military goes, okay, now let's go bomb it.
Yes. Oh man. But yeah, I like our little crazy little group. It's a big group, but it's a fun group. And to get into this, you have to be on a personal journey with very personal reasons for being here. And listening to the show or going to conferences or reading books or watching this, there's something that has drawn you in. All right. That is who belongs here. I don't want Anderson Cooper talking about this stuff. I don't know any of the hosts of Fox or MSNBC. I don't even know anybody that's on CNN. I just know Anderson Cooper because he's famous, but I haven't watched mainstream news in a long time. But having any of them talk about these, because I don't know if they have experienced this and they're part of the journey or if they're just a talking head. But in our community, we're all a part of the journey.
You know what? Maybe 5-10 years, who knows? Maybe you'll be sitting in Anderson Cooper's seat. And you'll be doing.
Is he still on CNN?
You know what? If I had a TV, I would let you know.
I don't know. I got this email the other day. I'm not kidding. It said HBO Max is no longer carrying CNN Newsroom Live. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was the announcement in the email. I went, CNN was on HBO Max? I didn't know. I had no clue. But apparently they thought it was important enough to tell me. I didn't even know it was there. So yeah, that's how much I'm aware of. My last experiences with like Bill, what was his name? Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, I think that's from Fox News. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he still on there? I remember him.
I don't think so. I don't know. I get my news now solely from social media.
You know where I get my news from? Renee Newman, my producer. She sends me the news that I cover every day, right? She's my editor and producer. She's amazing. She sends me stuff that's interesting, and I go through it, and that's the news. I broadcast the news live every day, right? I do.
Mhm.
That's the news that I'm aware of. Everything. No. She sends me what I should know. So my lack of awareness when you know what I do, Jason?
What's that?
I click on the news I want to read. I don't let them force it on me by watching it on TV. No, that's not the news I know. I'm not interested in what you think I need to know. No. I'll click on something, right? But that's my nervous system is a lot calmer because I take my news in that way.
Yes. And like I was just telling you, I went up on a trip recently. I just got back and there was no cell phone service at all. Like I couldn't even make a phone call when I was up there. And it's weird that we're so obsessed with these devices and so obsessed with like seeing the current thing happening that sometimes we need to like disconnect a little from this.
I have a friend, an amazing musician and songwriter and singer. His name's Jimmy Brune. He's out of Indianapolis. Just amazing, just world class. And he sends me last week. He goes, "Hey man, church, check out the song I just wrote." So he sends it to me, and it was called "The World in the Palm of Your Hand." Okay, and great song, toe tapper, great chorus. But it's about this, okay, and the implications of this. There's good and bad, right? And that's and it's an amazing song, but it's not just you and I talking about this. I think everybody is more and more aware of the advantages, right? And the disadvantages of what this actually is. Is it empowering? Yes. Is it dumbing us down? Absolutely. And I've tried to just turn this into a tool instead of my relationships. Right? There's a difference there. And you and I are old enough now. And oh man. There are a few generations underneath us where their entire world, their friends, their relationships, their emotions, everything is tied up there and not necessarily face to face. And they've accepted that. I think there's a definite change in DNA, on how humans are now building their circle and their life around them. Wow. And we're too far into it. There's no reversing it.
Yeah.
We just have to figure out a way to deal with it.
And I'm younger than you, not by much, but when I was very young, we had the Commodore 64 with the floppy disks, and then we moved to the first Apple computers. Now I have nieces and nephews that can barely walk, and they're carrying iPads around, and they know how to navigate it. Like this,
how crazy is that?
This generation, they're going to be so technologically savvy in the future that when technology explodes, which it will eventually, they'll be completely prepared for it and go with it. Where people like us will be like, "Wow, that's it's pretty strange technology."
And here's where we're going to sound really, really old, but it's true. The big leap in technology was Space Invaders and Missile Command, right? On Channel 3 on your TV. Remember when you had to screw that thing in the back? It had that little gaming switch to flip it over. Do you remember that thing?
I do.
You screw that in, and what an amazing piece of technology that was. Now, just really think about that. where today the technology that is available from birth is way beyond. I mean, real tech.
Yeah.
That's insane. That the thought of you could be a year old learning to walk, and in the palm of your hand, in that iPad, is all of the knowledge of everything that ever was.
Yeah.
What?
And I just saw this.
Everything, every video, every movie, every book, in every library of everything, every thought of everybody in the history of everything is right here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, we had to go to the library and find books to write an essay.
The Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah.
Right?
Now it's like I just go on AI and say, "Tell me about this." Or I don't even have to do that. I could just Google it, and the Google AI will tell me exactly what I wanted to know. Like
and lie to you if it wants to. Yeah,
Probably.
no, I'm being serious. I'm being serious. There was we're at the end of the show, Jason, and thank you for this. There was Renee sent this to me this week, and I reported on it. AI is giving so much false information, and it's everywhere. It's court systems. It's making up books and authors and whatever it is. It just makes shit up.
Mm-hmm.
But travel destinations and travelers that are going out are using AI more and more to plan their vacations, right? This couple goes to Peru to go to this site called the Human Thai Forest and River in the Human Thai Sacred Valley. Okay? With directions on how to get to this road to take you there. Okay, so they book their trip around this and they go. It doesn't exist. They're in the middle of the mountains, got no cell phone service, no guides, no information, going to a location that could lead them to certain death.
Yeah.
Right? Leads you in the middle of the nowhere. And it was made up. It didn't exist. They bought plane tickets, right? It's insane to me where this is where it has come, and people have put so much trust into it. Did you know the Chicago Sun-Times, the Chicago Tribune, the newspaper, 6 months ago, printed out their 10 best reads, 10 best books for 2025. Okay. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
7 of the 10 books and authors were made up, fictitious. They published it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, and how did that happen? It happened because the writer of the article that did the top 10 Goodreads list for 2025 for the Chicago Tribune and put the article together, did what? Used AI to come up with the 10 best Goodreads and put it out, didn't vet it. The editors there at the Chicago Tribune or the Sun-Times, I forget which newspaper, didn't vet it, didn't check it, didn't do anything. They just assumed. And so each one, check this out. This is where it gets really crazy. Each one of the authors had a biography tied to it, made up. The subject of the book, right? Summers at my uncle's cabin, whatever it was, right? Whatever it was, made up. The bibliography of the book and the description of the book, of the title, made up. But if you're reading it, you're like, man, that's a pretty good book. Yeah, all right, okay. Well, that's what they did. They put that together. You know how they got caught?
No.
People read the article and they went to go find the books. I want to read The Summer at My Uncle Bob's, beach house. Right?
But it's like, it's like, why is AI making all this stuff up? It's almost like they're just too lazy to do research like a human. Just like, okay, we'll just come up with all this stuff and they'll believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. The same problems in court,
Yeah.
right? Lawyers doing briefs on cases and case history on cases that didn't exist, and getting caught, getting their cases thrown out of court because the judge has found out that the case that they have cited, right, in their submissions to the court were not real cases, but oh man.
So there's no real shortcuts. No real short. We still have to work.
Can you imagine going to Peru? Okay, so where's the Humantai Sacred Valley? What? Yeah, it's supposed to be right here. What? What are you talking about? Are you from here?
When GPS came out for your car, a lot of people just followed the road directly into lakes and rivers. Like there will be like a time when it gets really good, I'm hoping. But think about it. Like I'm watching videos right now that are like 100% AI, or, people are just typing a prompt and creating music. It's getting harder and harder to distinguish. So what we have to do is, as an author, I have to not spell check my work. I have to make grammar mistakes so that people in the future can read my work and go, oh, this is a real person writing this.
Always misspell like the word friend or break or right. Consistently misspell and misuse a word, so you can go, no, I actually wrote that. Yeah. That's my doofus self. I always put I before E, except after C.
That's a really good point, because like I said, like I have very young nieces and nephews, and like we're just getting into this AI now. They don't even know what it is because they're too young. When they're our age, will they be writing things, or things will just be written for them? Like this could change dramatically.
Well, I firmly believe we've turned the page on this, where the generations below us, I know it sounds extreme to us, but they don't care if they're interacting with an artificial personality, an artificial friend, an AI, relationship. They're way past that, man. That's just part of their reality. For us, it's like, man, how could, that's just so offensive. Not so fast with the other generations, man. It's just another day to them. And I think that they're accepting of it. I'm not so sure. Our generations, and I talked about this today in the news, you and I, and we find it offensive that there's a possibility, we're scared of the possibility of AI taking over the world. Okay?
Yeah.
The generations below us, they think that's the future. It's like it's not that, it's evolution. That something's going to replace humanity eventually. So what? Let it do its thing. That's we're crazy paranoid about the date of the singularity, right? Yeah. We've all seen Terminator 2, and it didn't sit well with us. The scenes from Blade Runner, right, where you had these androids that didn't know if they were human or not. Right? Yeah. That scared the crap out of us. The generations below us right now, nah, I don't think that this is a concern. That's the future, and they're okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a Roomba, so I'm guilty.
Yeah, I know, right? I every time I'm at Lowe's, right, and I walk by I'm like, nope, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Jason, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you not only for being a part of my life, but thank you for coming in tonight and to help me have some fun on my birthday. Really appreciate it.
Yes, and happy birthday and many, many more. All right.
I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Let's get Conspiracy booked ASAP on Fade to Black.
For sure.
I'll talk to you. Thanks, Jason.
Bye.
The absolute very best. So that's going to wrap another week here on Fade to Black. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Very cool to do it with all of you and some of my friends in here tonight. Very fun, very special. And now I've got to go pack some bags and jump on a plane in the morning. So that's what I've got to do. I'll see everybody right back here on Monday. We've got a great week lined up next week. And I'll see you then. So today is officially my Friday. I'll see you when I get back. But until then, have a great, safe, fun, and amazing weekend. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. But for now, all I've got is go backly tappy. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go backly tappy.